Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the May 13th, 2019 Elbridge Township Council meeting. Please rise for a Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing for a moment of silence and for our prayer. I pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As customary in this chamber, we stand for a moment of silence to remember those who are protecting our freedoms, both here and abroad, for our first responders, for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And tonight, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, I would like a moment of silence for Richard Zipp. He was with the Volunteer Fire Company for Cheesequake for over 50 years. Plus, he was a Cheesequake Fire Commissioner for quite a number of years. So a moment of silence.
Mr. Pasquitti, our prayer, please.
O Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give them quiet minds and hearts that they may hear thy voice. Help them to know when to speak, when to be silent, and give them strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that they have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and with one another. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on Monday, June 10th, 2019, at 7:30 p.m. Mrs. Brown? Not here. Mr. Cahill?
Here.
And Dr. Greenberg? Here. Mr. Merwin?
Present.
Mr. Murphy? Here. Mr. Pasquitti?
Here.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Here.
President Soho?
Here.
8 present.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to start this evening with a presentation from our Parks and Recreation Department. Good evening.
Thank you guys very much. I want to thank the mayor, council, and Himanshu for allowing me to come and give a quick glance at the Elbridge Township Parks and Recreation Department. As you can see, here are some of our logos: our Parks and Rec logo, 150-year logo, and our Silver Linings at Elbridge logo. Parks and Recreation, we like to say we are something for everyone. The department is one of the township's largest service providers, oversees a multitude of programs. We offer programming for children as young as 2 years old, all the way up to some of our members in Silver Lining have just turned 100 years old. I will go through some of our areas and our divisions. I will start with the John Piccolo Ice Arena. John Piccolo Ice Arena is overseen by Lisa Valsara, the Deputy Director. Programs offered at the arena. We offer over 100 basic skills ice skating lessons. We do fall lessons and winter lessons. Both end with a showcase. We have a holiday showcase around the holidays, and then we have another in February. We offer instructional hockey clinics. This year, we partnered with the New York Rangers in 2 different capacities. We partnered with them to come in and run 2 free instructional hockey clinics. They outfitted anybody who wanted to learn in everything: pads, equipment, skates, you name it. That was our first introduction. Then we did our Learn to Play program with the New York Rangers this year. For those of you who don't know, a Learn to Play program is obviously kids learning how to play hockey. Our enrollment in doing this with the Rangers has doubled, so we hope that that means that our numbers within our junior hockey program will continue to grow. Once again this year, we hosted veteran skating sessions through a partnership with Operation Beachhead. And we also, once again this year, did school day trips. We partnered with the Board of Education. We offer school trips to all of our elementary schools, usually 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade levels during the day. Obviously, it's great for the kids to come out, but to be honest, we also like that it's bringing more people into our arena. We do get more people who sign up for lessons. We get more people who do birthday parties. And obviously, we got a lot more kids who come out to our Friday night skate, open skate program. Some of our recent improvements that we did last year, we stripped and repainted our entire ceiling at the arena, and we also updated our fireplace. Both of those were capital projects. Something that we were able to do in-house was last year we built a dedicated girls' locker room. We have more and more females playing, not just in our youth program, in our high school program, and also our opposing teams that come in. So to get a dedicated, safe space for our girls was a priority and was something we were able to do in-house. Upcoming projects, the same project that we did updating our ceiling, we plan on doing again to our wall structures. Once that is completed, hopefully by the end of July, we're going to turn around and redo all of our flooring throughout the arena, all of our skate-safe flooring. Our year-long recreation programming, which is supervised by Program Supervisor Breanne McManus. Her job is to development and implementation of all of our youth programs. Each session, fall, winter, and spring, we have about 60 classes, ranging from adults and children. We have cooking classes, arts and craft classes, mommy and me classes. As you can see from the one picture up top, that was painted by our 6, 7, and 8-year-old art class. And one of our most popular programs year in and year out is our dance program. That starts in October and ends in April with a recital. This year we held our recital at Elbridge High School. We packed the house. We were also able to this year have parents buy flowers right through us, get their picture packages, get everything. A lot of people were happy with the small changes that we updated. We also brought back Zumba classes. This year we haven't had them for a couple years. We started up in the spring and our numbers are starting to go up in that. New for 2019, we're going to host our first intergenerational Art for the Ages show at the end of this month. All council members should have gotten an invitation. This is open to the public. This is the art show is for our children's classes and our Silver Linings classes. It's going to be held over at the Silver Lining Center, and it's going to be for everybody to come and see the very, very good art that all of our youth and older adults. We're also going to be doing a summer wrestling program. We haven't had a summer wrestling program in town in a long time. We're partnering our Mat Rats program with Elbridge High School, who's recently hired a new coach. We're going to be one team, one town. The high school coach is looking to be very involved as well. And our basement, in one of our art rooms, we've had a kiln room for many, many years that has not been used. We were able to get those kilns fixed. We have our Silver Linings participants now working on projects, but it will be something that we're going to offer to the public starting in the fall. Also under our recreation programming is our half-day summer camp. Half-day summer camp is located in many various schools throughout the town, as well as some of our locations include the Civic Center, Lawrence Harbor Community Center, and Veterans Park Community Center. Usually our enrollment is in between 600 and 700 kids. We did our registration for half-day camp last week. With those 600 or 700 kids, we hire about 100 camp employees to help run this program. Our special events, a couple weeks ago, we had our first annual Spring Fling up at Gike Park. This is something that we plan on doing every year. We have our Memorial Day Parade coming up in only 2 weeks down in Lawrence Harbor. Our father-daughter dance is always the Saturday before Father's Day. We have our annual summer camp color run. That's what the picture is from. Saltwater Day will also be in August down in Lawrence Harbor. Elbridge Day will be September 21st here in the Municipal Complex. Our annual Halloween Spooktacular and Haunted House, which is always a big hit, is obviously in the end of October. And then we end our year with our holiday tree and menorah lighting ceremonies. Now we'll go into our Parks Department crews, locations, and responsibilities. John Hughes is our foreman. He oversees 9 full-time employees as well as a seasonal labor force. We are responsible for 235 acres of developed parkland and maintenance of over 1,100 acres of open space. Some of those responsibilities include ball field maintenance. Some examples of field maintenance is grass cutting, fertilization, seeding, laying out fields for different orientations or for different usages, lining fields, base and mound placement, and dragging of dirt, clays, and fields. We have over 30 different types of leagues in town who we permit these fields to, and they operate 7 days a week, and if they can do 8 days a week, they would do that as well. Some of our example of building and facility maintenance at a lot of our locations, including the Ice Arena, Camp Robin, Lawrence Harbor Community Center, South Elbridge Community Center, and Cottrell Farm include facilitating annual service, maintenance, and repairs, as well as state inspections on all mechanical systems. We coordinate our fire inspections with the fire departments and with DPW, general maintenance, and we obviously need to ensure that we are OSHA and P-OSHA compliant. We also winterize all of our bathrooms and facilities and irrigation systems. We do that in-house, and we try to do as much HVAC and electrical maintenance as we possibly can in-house as well. Playground safety and inspections. We do monthly inspections, repairs, and 5-bar replacements at the following locations: Central Park, Annie Drive Playground, Gike Park Playground, the Lower Gike Park Playground, Menino Park, Veterans Park, High Point Playground, and Genoa Playground. Obviously, we do daily trash removals and cleaning of bathrooms at all of our parks and facilities. Then when we go around to the wintertime, we are also in the snow removal business. We are not in the business as much as DPW is, but we do have a lot of responsibility when it comes to snow removal. All of the properties under our department, we are responsible for that snow removal, as well as the removal inside the municipal complex, and we manage an outside contractor when the snow piles up. We do everything from plowing to machine work to actually hand shoveling and hand salting certain areas. Besides the areas that you think Parks and Recreation should be handling, we also do outside areas such as the Route 18 overpass. We do bus stops on Inverness, bus stops across by Acme, the public or the emergency access from the high school to get onto Gike Field in case of emergency. So there's about 25 other locations all spread out, various parts of town that we are responsible for snow removal as well. These are obviously some of our locations of our parks. One of our larger parks is Gike Park. This is the home of our Camp Robin facility. We have many lit athletic fields that are used for different sports, from lacrosse, soccer, baseball, softball. We do have lighted basketball courts. We have our sand volleyball courts, and when we were up there this Saturday, there was people bringing that, can't think of the name, they play it on the beach all the time, I'm messing out, where you smack the ball in the middle. Yeah, they're playing that now on our sand volleyball courts, which is, you know, another great way to use that. We obviously have our kiddie playground there, our bathroom facilities, our pavilion with grills, which is available for rentals for picnics, parties, certain things like that. And we have a lighted softball field down at Lower Gike, or what we call Lower Gike is the softball field that you can see from 516. Some of our other parks and locations include, behind the YMCA, we have our Menino Park, which is our 2 lit fields. We have a kiddie playground that is home to Bark Park, which is used from the minute that gate opens until the minute that gate closes every single day. In snow, this is one of our first facilities that we clear because people want to bring their dogs out as soon as they possibly can to Bark Park. We obviously have bathroom facilities there as well. At Vets Park, we have 2 large 60-90 softball fields with lights. We have a soccer field, a lighted small-sided baseball field, 2 newly updated basketball courts that we did last year with capital projects, 4 lit tennis courts, a wall ball court, and a community center there, which is available to rent, and we use that as a summer camp location as well. In our municipal parking lot here, we have our 8 lit tennis courts. Last week, we were able to line 2 of those courts that can serve as pickleball courts and tennis ball courts. We know pickleball is coming, and it's here, and we need to be ready for its growth. Lawrence Harbor Beachfront Park, we have our basketball courts down at Lawrence Harbor. We have our wall ball court. We also have a community center there available for rentals, which is also a facility that we use for summer camp. Something that a lot of people may or may not know, we have a dedicated cricket field down on Pension Road, which is all the way right by Raceway Park. There's not many towns that have a dedicated cricket field. We have had one for a very long time, and it is utilized every single hour we can technically permit it for, we have it permitted for. We also have Ticetown Road Soccer Complex and Higgins Road Soccer Complex that have between 4 and 6 fields each, depending on how you orientate those fields, and bathroom facilities at both of those locations. In the Central Park neighborhood, we have our 2 basketball courts and the playground area and the pavilion. And in South Elbridge on Marlborough Road, we have a community center, which is also available for rentals and a playground over there as well. Our before and after care program. This is under the supervision of Manager Greg Grieve. This is a state licensed program. Every facility is state licensed. We have 14 sites in all. Of that, we have the 12 public elementary schools that we do before care and after care in, and Salk and Sandburg at the middle school, we only do after care only. The safety improvements that we implemented this year is the presence of the Class 3 specials at all of our sites. 2019, I feel like I said the same thing in 2018. We keep hitting our highest enrollment. We have a lot of people who need full-day childcare for before care and after care, and we do many different options. You can do before care and after care, you can do just one, you can do 5-day, you can do 4-day, you can do in between 1 and 3 days, and you can change that every month, because a lot of families' schedules are very flexible and change depending on what sort of work they do. That program is overseen by approximately 125 staff members. We're always looking for ways to enhance our program. We do have a pretty significant special needs population in our before care and after care program, so we want to provide tablets for our special needs students to use during this upcoming year. We are also in the intergenerational programming between our aftercare kids and the Silver Linings Department. Through a grant through Columbia Bank, we plan on installing an intergenerational vegetable garden right out by the food bank, and the work should get started on that by the end of this school year. These are just some of the pictures of the staff to show you, I guess, the age range of our staff in our before care and after care program. We have high school kids, we have college kids, we have teachers, we have paras, and we have a lot of people in this group have been in our program. Some of our more seasoned employees have been there 20 to 25 plus years. So the consistency that they provide to a family, that they know the person that is taking care of them and it's the same person, goes a long way when you're talking about dealing with people's children. Then once school is over, we roll into full-day camp. So basically, we can provide full-day care for your child for 48 of the 52 months of the year. A majority of our staff rolls over from our before care and after care right into our full-day camp, which then again goes with the consistency and the trusting of who's watching your child. We offer this at 3 sites in the summer. That's McDivitt, Elbridge High School, and the Grade 9 Center. All of these sites also have Class 3 officers, enabling us to provide a safe and secure environment for all of our children and staff. Last year, the Home News and Tribune recognized our full-day camp as the best of Middlesex County. This is the second time in 5 years that they've been awarded that honor. And once again, for 2019, this program is sold out, but moving forward, we are looking for ways to get in every single family that needs this full-day opportunity. Our Silver Linings at Elbridge. This is overseen by our manager, Anna Feltz. This is an activity center. This is not a senior center. When you walk into our activity center, you feel like you need to be active. The feeling you get when you walk in that center is of happiness, is of inclusion, is of activity. We tell people who say, I don't want to come to a senior center, give us 2 days in our center, and we promise you that you will want to come back. And once they're in there, they keep coming back and back. As you can see, we have over 2,000 people registered with our center. We have about 115 who come in every single day. We do transportation over all 42 square miles of Elbridge. A good amount of funding for the center is grant funding through the county and the state. We were able to increase our grant funding for 2019 for physical activity and transportation. A lot of that is because we're using the grant money that we get in previous years, and we're using it quickly. So, they want to reward those departments in those towns that are spending their money. The programs that we offer are exercise classes, paint and sketch, health and wellness presentations, intergenerational programming, trips, and ship counseling and other social services. This year, we were able to implement My Senior Center, and I think Anna and I had spoke about that. This is basically a way for us to track our seniors. We can track them from when they get on the bus to when they swipe in and when they swipe out. And this lets us know where our seniors are or where our participants are, when they're there, what they're doing. a lot of them come on the buses and don't come to our centers, so we're capturing them everywhere. And those hopefully equate to points, which equate to dollars, but also it lets us know which of our events are most well-attended and which aren't, and how we can serve our population a little bit better. We're always looking for ways to keep our participants involved. This year, Anna and Casey from DPW came up with the idea of Silver Linings Clean Communities Group. We have 18 volunteers who've gone out 2 times already to once to Veterans Park, once to Gike Park, to help beautify and clean up all the garbage that's in the area. And once they're out in the park, you don't have to they just run out and they start picking up stuff. So it really is a great program. And once again, that bottom picture is our always popular Dancing Divas and Dudes, who will dance anywhere at any time. If anybody needs them, please let us know. They'll be dancing once again this year in Atlantic City in June to perform at the Miss New Jersey Senior America pageant. Also, under our silver linings is our food bank, which is under our manager, Anna, and our administrative assistant and food bank volunteer coordinator, Brittany. Food bank's available to anybody in Elbridge. All you need to do is set up an initial screening appointment. It's run by 15 dedicated volunteers, and when we mean dedicated volunteers, they will do anything for anybody, whether it's at the food bank or in the center, so we couldn't do that without them. We assist, fortunately or unfortunately, 500 residents every month. We do a yearly Thanksgiving basket distribution. We have 2 very important partnerships. One is with McFoods, and we receive weekly donations of bread and perishable and non-perishable items. And recently, we've also established a partnership with the Elbridge ShopRite to receive weekly donations. We obviously also partner with the schools and with local organizations when they do their food drives. Camp Robin, which is located up at Gike Park. This is under the supervision of Coordinator Pete Pirro. This is an essential program, not just for the participants, but for their families as well, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Some of our programming seasonally includes basketball, computer enrichment, other therapeutic rec programs. We have a 6-week summer camp program that is also housed up at Camp Robin. Our most well-attended and our biggest events is our Friday night adult teen programs. They go out, they've gone to Wonder Sub and made their own subs. They've gone to Giuseppe's and made their own pizzas. They go to games, they go to shows. We have programs that come in and do things in Camp Robin. This is beneficial not only to the participants, but to the families. The families get a 4 or 5 hour break, and they get to go out and do what they want to do, whatever they want to do for their own recreational activities. We have parents on Fridays nights who come and drop their kids off, and they are dressed to the nines. This is mom and dad's night out. So, you know, it kind of, that's what I mean when it benefits the whole family. They know that their child is safe and is doing something productive, but they also know that then they can go out and they can enjoy themselves and maybe turn that stress down just a little bit. As you can see, when the room is packed here, we are heavily involved in Special Olympics. We don't just participate, but we win a lot. Last year, we received a $7,000 grant from Columbia Bank for technology upgrades. So that whole building now has Wi-Fi, and we were able to get 8 iPads for our participants. In the past, our participants were only really able to use the technology in the computer room. Now they can take that iPad outside on the bench. They can take it in the big room. They can take it in the lobby. They can take it in the art room. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about special projects for special children. That was the nonprofit organization that supports Camp Robin. They were established in 1998 by Jim and Barbara Anderson. They support everything that is Camp Robin. This past Saturday, myself and the mayor were up at Camp Robin. The Elks came up, the Elbridge Elks. They had a motorcycle run for brain-injured children last month. On Saturday, they presented Camp Robin special projects with a check for $18,610. The Elbridge Elks has been our largest and most consistent supporter of Camp Robin, and we could not offer all the programs that we have, all the scholarship opportunities that we have without the Elks. We also have our Municipal Alliance, and Karen Tortorisi, our coordinator for that, says, if I'm in a meeting, then nobody wants to hear what I have to say, because unfortunately, the stuff that she's talking about is very serious and is very heavy, and it affects us all. The whole Municipal Alliance implements programs that maybe a lot of in the general public don't see. We are in the schools. We help the schools run a lot of programs. We're grant funded, but we also get funding from the township as well. We have 30 volunteers that meet every month, and those volunteers on the Alliance are school teachers, the superintendent of schools. We have our own police officers on board. We have principals, and we have just concerned people in town. And unfortunately, we have to talk about the dangers of drug abuse and alcohol, and we start that at a very young age in the schools. But the way that we talk about it, we have professionals who come into the school who start in kindergarten and first grade, and it goes all the way up to obviously high school. We help with the peer-to-peer. We help with peer mentoring. The things that the public can see, we have the biannual forums on opiate awareness that just passed on April the 30th. Upcoming events, we have our intergenerational end-of-the-year celebration. I know I'm saying intergenerational over and over and over, but we do have a lot of cross-contamination through all of our departments. The high school psychology class comes in every year and talks about healthy aging with our senior citizens, and they've been doing it for about 20 years now. And then we will also have Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs. This is for all fourth graders in district. They're asked to come up with a picture, a flyer, and why it's better to be hooked on fishing but not on drugs. The Alliance picks 50 people, 50 of the top ones, and we do basically a free fishing clinic for them, free poles, free bait. We have licensed fishermen who come out. We have police officers who come out, firefighters who come out and show these kids how to fish, and that will be June 8th over at Cheesequake State Park. Some of our capital improvements that we've completed this past year and what we have upcoming, like I said, we did our arena roof. We updated our fireplace at the arena. We installed 2 new sport court basketball courts at Veterans Park, purchased 2 new transportation buses for Silver Linings Department, and we purchased the mobile scanners for transportation. Upcoming in 2019, which hopefully gets awarded this evening, are our arena walls for stripping and painting, our installation of the new rubber flooring at the arena, updating and replacing our lighting at Lawrence Harbor Boardwalk, purchase of an equipment trailer for the Parks Department, and purchase of an additional bus for our Silver Linings Department. We also got dollars for the next 2 years, this year and next year, to do a new turf installation at our Gike Park baseball field and replacement of our irrigation at Higgins Soccer Complex. In conclusion, Parks, Recreation, and Social Services is one of the more visible and larger departments in the entire township. I want to thank the large team of dedicated professionals, employees, and volunteers who help get all of our work done. And outside of that, I want to thank all of my counterparts within the township. We work with a lot of departments internally and externally, and we couldn't do what we do without working as a team internally and externally. And you can find all of our information on our website, elbridge.com/recreation. I tried to keep it as short as I could.
That's great. Thank you. Very good presentation. Thank
And
you
these
very much.
presentations will also be on our website soon, too, if anybody wants to see them.
Okay. Anyone from the council have any questions or comments for Matt? On my left, Mr. Murphy?
Great job, Matt. It's amazing what one person can do here. I know it's not just you.
John, excuse me, your mic.
Your mic,
I
John?
know that a lot of other people are helping you, but it's unbelievable to sit here and half of these things they didn't even know was being done. Thank you for the report, and thank all your employees with you.
No problem. And like you said, it's definitely not done by one person, done by all of us.
Anyone else on my left for a comment? On my right? Mr. Pescetti?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. That was really good presentation, and I didn't realize all of that was under your domain there. And kudos to you and your team.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Walker?
I just want to thank Matt, because I've been asking him to line some of the tennis courts here. I've been bugging him for pickleball, because I don't know if any of you know, pickleball is the new up-and-coming sport, so I say for the more senior people out there, when you can no longer play baseball. But if you don't know what it is, YouTube it. It's really fun. And 2 of our courts have been lined over here, and you just have to adjust the nets, and you can play pickleball. And in the future, we're hoping to have pickleball-only courts. Hopefully, it's going to be in the budget next year. And on May 23rd, there's going to be a demo from the county at 10:30 at the pickleball courts, and there's going to be a ribbon cut. And so the public's welcome to come. In the future, we're going to be able to have like free clinics, correct, from the county. So please come and see what it's all about.
Yes, I would like to thank you and thank your staff for all the dedication and work that you do. I'm so grateful tonight that you came and gave this presentation, because I don't think that everyone realizes when they put it all together in town, really what goes on. If you do one thing, they're focused on that one thing, and I understand that, but really, this is a very vibrant community. We're a big community, and there's a lot of maintenances, and with the staff that you have to accomplish all that, that's really quite a feat that you do, and really, I remain in awe about it. The new programs all the time that you're coming up with in recreation and at the Silver Linings, and people I don't think understand how they're tied together and they work, and the different programs in town also with the food banks. So doing this presentation really tied it very well. So the innovation that comes together all the time, the activity, I'm very grateful for it. And I'll tell you, there's times when you come in, not tonight, unfortunately, because we've had monsoon season here, but when you come in, you see the lights at night on the tennis courts, and you see people playing there. Then before I got here, you know, when you pass the soccer fields and you see people out there, it's so nice to see people active. And in this day and age, not only in high school with the sports, people get their children involved with travel sports. So they're really not even involved a lot of times within town. And it's sad because we do offer so much all the time. So truly, you know, for those that, I get it when they complain, but on the budget, I think really it's a commendable what is done with the amount of money, with the town as large as that we have, and the facilities we have. I think it's phenomenal, and I wish that more people would take advantage of things. And I know, just as far as Councilwoman Walker said about pickleball being a combination of tennis, badminton, and ping pong, and more people are playing it. And as far as different things that you have earmarked for the park at Cottrell Park, there is something for everyone all over town. And we should be very proud of the things that we do have. And I see that all the department heads work on it and just continue to make it better. So I want to thank you, Anna, and thank all your staff for this. Thank you.
Any? Okay, I'll just close the comments also by saying thank you, Matt. That was, anyone else down here? The mayor, of course.
Go ahead, Mayor.
No, go ahead, Mayor. Go right ahead. You didn't
No, I
really-
just want to tell the council, thank you for giving us the 15 minutes. We could have sat here for well over 2 hours and talked about it. What Matt just covered was the part of the iceberg that you see above the water. The operations is that big part underneath that holds everything together. We've challenged Matt a number of times, and every time we've done it, he's been up to the challenge to get it done. Anyone who's been to Guy Park lately has seen it's the best that has looked since it's opened. Everything is moving in the right direction, and Matt's a big responsible for that. So I'd be remiss if I thanked Matt personally and publicly, and everyone in that department, Parks and Rec. It seems like a simple Parks and Recreation department. You'd think everybody just has a lawnmower. But when you see what the Parks and Recreation department does, it truly is amazing that it does get done in an orderly, professional manner. And that's kudos to Matt. So thank you, Council.
Yes, you're welcome. And really, thank you, Matt. This was a great presentation. You could see the passion, the enthusiasm that you have, that Anna and all the department heads, they work collaboratively, and that's what's important as well. I mean, my children have benefited from everything from the skating lessons to the cooking lessons and everything in between. And it just shows you how much we do have available and how we are trying to invest in the town as much as we can in recreation for everyone, from seniors to children, all ages. So I really think this town is very responsive to the needs of recreation and are coming up with many new and innovative ideas. So thank you again.
Thank you very much for the kind words. I'll make sure to pass them along to the whole department.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Next, we'll have proclamation certificates. Mayor Henry? Jeez.
Just going to call you up, Pat, thank you. You're a mind reader. Good evening, everyone, council. I have a proclamation about Building Safety Month. When natural disasters and other hazards put American lives at risk, robust codes and standards for our buildings play an important role in keeping us safe. This month, as we pay tribute to professionals who design, construct, and secure our infrastructure, let us raise awareness about building safety and rededicate ourselves to improving it in the days to come. The Township of Elbridge is continuing its efforts to address the critical issues of safety, energy efficiency, and resilience in its built environment that affect our citizens, both in everyday life and in times of natural disaster, to give us confidence that our structures are safe and sound. Building Safety Month is sponsored by International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely owned guardians of public safety, our local code officials, who assure us safe, efficient, and livable buildings. These guardians, dedicated members of the International Code Council, use a governmental consensus process that brings together local, state, and federal officials with expertise in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect Americans in the buildings we live, learn, work, worship, and play. Building Safety Month 2019 encourages appropriate steps everyone can take to ensure the places we live in, learn, work, worship, and play are safe and sustainable, and recognize that countless lives have been saved due to the implementation of safety codes by local state agencies. Now therefore, I, Owen Henry, Mayor of the Township of Elbridge, Township Council, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim May 2019 to be Building Safety Month and acknowledge the essential services provided to all of us by local and state building departments and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. Thank you, everyone. Pat? One of our building officials was just recognized recently as the best of the best. One of our electrical inspectors was just recognized by his peers and the Building Association of New Jersey as the electrical inspector of the year here in New Jersey. So we're very proud, and he works for Pat, and we're very lucky to have him here in Elbridge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Thank you, Pat. I don't know if I should. You want to say?
It's Richard Vigliotti.
Richard Bigelow.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mayor. Next will be approval of previous minutes, combined meeting minutes for March 25th, 2019, and executive session minutes for March 25th, 2019.
Move it.
Move it.
Yeah, we have to do them separate. So the first,
Yeah.
who made the motion?
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Pescity.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Next will be executive session minutes for March 25th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Rizzoli,
Who seconded it?
Dr. Greenberg.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Next would be our bill listing, Mrs. Walker.
Accounts payable, May 13, 2019, $11,814,691.76.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Payroll, May 10, 2019, $918,714.71.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Payroll overtime, May 10, 2019, $35,260.36.
Do I have a
Move it.
motion? Second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mrs. Walker, and Mr. Shaw, can we have a breakout?
Yes, Council President, thank you. As Councilwoman Walker indicated, the total overtime for this pay period was $35,260.36. There was any uptick in any other department to report. For the police department, for the sworn officers, total overtime for this pay period was $26,750.70. And deduct grant, $1,355.16. Deduct ETO, $12,472.90. The net overtime was $12,922.64, representing 436.75 man and women hours. There was no officer injured on duty or not a special events in the police department either.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Okay, Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
That concludes the bill list.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Public hearings and ordinances for second reading. H1, Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, Manzo Elbridge Properties, LLC. Preliminary and final major subdivision, Block 5001, Lots 11, 12.11, and 13. Application number 95-99Z. Good evening, Mrs. Shapiro.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. This was an application called Manzo Major Subdivision, Manzo Elbridge Properties LLC, under application 9599Z, which received approval from our zoning board in 2001 for the creation of Manzo Boulevard, a private roadway. Subsequent to that approval, the applicant had come back to the board in 2005, 2008, and 2018 for what we call the Manzo Boulevard or the Manzo Industrial Park. The project is actually located west of Route 9, east of Bordentown Avenue, and sandwiched between Old Waterworks Road and Cheesequake Road. The improvements that were bonded were stormwater management and Manzo Boulevard. However, the subsequent approvals had basically reduced Manzo Boulevard to a cul-de-sac road, and then the subdivision was perfected. The performance guarantee that was posted for the project was $1,257,475.05 in the form of bond, 10% cash escrow, $137,221.86. So the bonded improvements that were inspected were those that were going to be remaining. Environmental Resolution, our consultant, had issued a punch list dated March 8, 2019, and subsequent to that had issued another letter dated May 6, 2019, which basically stated that all the bonded improvements had been completed. It's important to note that should this application have come in today, all the improvements that were bonded are private. So there would have been no performance guarantee on this property posted for the project. We find that everything it has been done and is acceptable, and we recommend release of the performance guarantee.
Thank you very much. And for the record, could you?
For the record, Marcia Moore on behalf of Mansell Elbridge Properties LLC from Post Pollock.
Okay, good evening. Is there anyone first from the public that wishes to be heard about this, on this matter? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion. I will go to council. Anyone on my left have a question or a comment? Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Anyone else on my left? On my right? Seeing no hands, I will ask for a motion.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by,
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscatty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohar?
yes.
9 yes.
Just housekeeping purposes, there was reference in the letter that the money was previously posted in Mansell Holdings LLC.
Oh,
Wait,
Mike.
yeah.
Yeah.
The money was posted in Mansell Holdings LLC. That entity is subsequently, is no longer in existence. The applicant is Mansell Elbridge Properties, LLC, so we would ask that the monies be released into that entity. If you need us to submit a new W-9, we can certainly do that.
We need a new
New W-9.
And- Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much,
Thank
and you
you.
have a nice evening. Thank you. Ordinances for second reading. Ordinance number 2019-08, authorizing a traffic signal at the intersection of Texas Road, County Road 520, and Englishtown Road, County Road 527.
Move it.
Is there anyone in the public that wishes to be heard? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion. I believe, Mr. Merwin, you made a motion?
No, Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy,
I
okay.
second.
Okay, and you seconded, okay.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscatty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Sohar?
Yes.
9 yes.
Preliminary public comments to council, subject to the following conditions and restrictions. During the preliminary public portion of the meeting, any person may address the Township Council on any subject matters for a maximum period of 5 minutes. Any such person desiring to speak during the preliminary public portion shall first sign a list maintained by the Township Clerk for such purpose. Comments during the preliminary public comment portion of the meeting shall not encompass second reading ordinances or any other matter for which comment or a public hearing is to occur at the meeting.
Vasilios? I don't remember his last name. Mr. Vasilios, I don't remember his last name.
First time I broke my promise. I told you I'm not gonna see you. You're gonna see me anymore.
Good evening. Can you have a seat, please, and just turn the microphone on, please? It's on? Okay, thank you.
1, 2, 3. Do you hear me? The reason that I came here, I want from all of you just one question. If somebody to answer me yes or not. There is a reason which I want to bring that, what I want to say. If my right hand trusts the left one, if the left one trusts the right one, even where everybody you have two hands, Do they trust the hand, the right to the left or the left to the right? Do they trust each other? Could you answer me, please? You don't know why I said that. Because of the three people, I heard one thing is, I trust my men. When I have my key here, somehow, because I was talking to you or to you, to everybody, or my mind is somewhere else, somehow that hand takes the key and put it on my left side of my pocket. And when I came back to my memory, I started to check with my right hand, right, which I have in my right pocket, and I couldn't see it because I know I had in my right hand, but somehow that hand, the left, took it and put on the left, and then I start checking it all over. That's exactly happens the question. When two persons here, I don't want to mention to them, they say, we trust our men. It's not trust today. It is not trust even to ourselves. The truth is never is truth. Every time it changes, from moment to the moment. You know that. I came here and I called 5 o'clock in the morning. No, before that, around 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 weeks ago. A police guy to come to see my apartment at night time. It was smell. They came two persons. Actually, when I called, they say, yes, we're going to send you a man to see your apartment. After that, they called me from here. They say, we're not going to send nobody because this is not the police issue. What can I say? Thank you very much. I tried to make a coffee to drink to relax myself. 20 minutes after, the two police, they came to my apartment. They start making some kind of question. One of the questions they say, did you lately visit your doctor? I said, what for, my friend? And then he started to cover the conversation. Again, later on again. I said, my friend, could you go to the corner where is the air condition? Put your nose there and smell it? They refused it. But the report which he had, I didn't bring it here. He says, Vasilios Maradidis, he was pretending with a mask. He has the apartment, he has mold. Welcome, guys, to my apartment. Do me a favor. 4.5 months I'm living there. Look at my eyes. At night time I cannot sleep. Not only from the mold, whatever they did, the police, to me. And I want Mr. Shah to tell me who sent that 3 police to come in my house. When years ago, I had my sister, which for 45 years I was protecting because she had tremendous, was afraid from the death of my father. They killed because he was killed for the right. And she used to use the Abilify Lexapro. You know what that means, drunks. When I called the police to help me because she stopped using the pills, they say we cannot push her to be on the hospital. My question to Mr. Shah, how those 3 guys, they came to my apartment with no anybody, doctor there? To make the question. But this is not this one. It is also the 17 from New Amsterdam Village. They said 2 guys, police was or with the ambulance, and the psychiatrist also. With the 12, I dry my mouth, I'm sorry. That's why I cannot pronounce the words. He says, you have to answer me 12 questions. Stop that time there. Please. And he came to make 12 questions. When I answered to their 12 questions...
Sir, yeah, we have to limit it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, stay there a minute, stay there a minute. Mrs. Chairman, can I speak?
John, what do you have to say?
What?
You can speak.
Okay, listen. I've seen you here at every meeting. I see nothing getting done. I know council people have been there. I heard that it smells horrible. I ran for council, not for just Ward 6. I ran for the entire township. If they will grant me to go out there, now you are built on probably 2 Superfund sites. One of them, I don't know where your apartment is, but it got very close to London Terrace because we used to dump there. The township used to dump there, the public works used to dump there, and so did we. And it's not vented very well. And in 1977, I said to my brother, that's pretty much when they were trying to close it up and stuff, I said, I hope they're not going to move in those apartments anywhere. I want to go there, I want to bring the health department, no politicians. I know people from the State Department of Health, and I know the county very good. I'd like them to bring there, I don't want you to open your windows, which I heard you've been doing. I want them to go and look. I can't promise anything, but give me a chance. That's all I ask, because you somehow do pay taxes, and it's responsibility I feel it's responsibility of that apartment to make sure that apartment is safe. And that's all I have to say.
Okay.
You don't have to show me anything, I'll come there.
Came to raise who? Technician for university. There, we don't know what's gonna happen to there. You don't know, nobody.
All right.
This is in English. Is this English?
John,
Can I get your
John.
number and address? I'm asking the council if I can take a roll. Huh?
Yeah, thanks. Okay, he's used up his time. Number one, this is it looks like to me like a private issue. I think he's been advised that it's a private issue. But hold on, just listen to me, because you've had your time. And council has spoken too. If there's going to be a health and safety issue and the township wants to go down there and look at it, they're free to do that, okay? So the township can send
They
someone.
did that.
Okay, well, then you have to follow what they're doing. So you have yourself, you have to look at private remedies. Now, listen to me. Listen to me. It sounds to me like you're a private renter, okay? So you have to look, number one, at those remedies. To the extent it's a township issue, send someone down from the township and follow their instructions. That's what you do. And you can go talk to the health department privately. You don't have to do it in this meeting, and you can follow that.
Oh, with 5, I know health department guys. 5 of them. I don't want nobody to see them.
Well, if you want the township involved, that's what you have to do.
You can come as a human.
Now, listen to me. You've had your time, but that's what you do is you talk to the health department. If you've been to the council and you just keep talking to the council, it's not the council's role to go down there as a council person to look at your place. If you want to work with the health department, work with the health department. I don't know what the letter is.
Let me just clarify. I think Mr. Murphy is, as usual, making his statements, right?
Well,
But we had a council member visited that, our health department visited there, our code department has visited that. We had a county health department coming in, visiting his property, and all of them, and then there was a private company hired by the apartment owners who hired to do the inspections, the testing, came in negative.
As a councilman,
Let me finish, Mr. Murphy, okay? The apartment owners has offered him to move to another apartment. He has refused even that. There is no remedy that is offered to him that he willing to accept. We have no idea what other solution, but the Councilwoman Greenberg, Valley, and Councilwoman Dina Brown, both has been involved in this entire process, and all the information is being shared.
as a councilman, as a person, I do have the right to visit him on my own, right? And I'm not representing the town, I'm representing myself. Okay,
Well, then that should be a private matter, not handled here
That'll
at
be a
the
private
meeting,
matter, and
okay?
I'll contact who I know I have to contact.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
but he was offered a different venue as
They
well,
offered
John.
they offered you a different apartment?
There 36 years. 5 times I told them, can I move another apartment? They refuse it. They refuse it. 5, every time they bring the garbage, he beg me to make myself to move out. To move out of the building, out of the New Jersey. Believe it or not, from the bottom of my heart, they are murders. They die people from the cancer. Do you understand that? Here the mayor said, for they saved of the
All right.
buildings. What kind of safe with this, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Facil.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next issue
Yeah,
now.
we
If you
have-
want to talk to someone afterwards, you can talk afterwards.
Yeah. All right, okay. All right.
Councilmember.
Yeah, this now is council
Councilmember
member
comments.
comments. Anyone on my left? Mr. Rizzoli?
Yeah, first I want to start by saying a happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Hope you enjoyed your day. And I just wanted to acknowledge Police Week. It's a week that we honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice, and I put on a memorial wall down there. I want to commend the Elbridge Police Department for being involved with the Unity Tour this year. It's a very proud moment to go down there. It raises money, which finances the memorial throughout the year, every year. I just want to thank them for participating. The memorial is a time where there are a lot of families need that interaction with other families who lost loved ones, and it's always a proud moment to be involved and to help them. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mrs. Brown?
I actually want to acknowledge someone that I knew recently, a mom that I knew, a little bit younger than me actually. She was 37, who recently passed away. I just wanted to, obviously send my condolences to her family. She had 3 children who were, I believe, ages 13, 10, and I think also 9. I could be a little bit off on the ages, but either way, her husband and her 3 children survive her. And sorry I wasn't here earlier to make this statement in a moment of silence, but I just wanted us all here today to, obviously we all know how serious cancer is, but to take a moment in our daily lives to think of maybe all the nuanced things that we hold to be really important and feel like we should argue or fight about, and recognize that, we're not all promised tomorrow, and hate to be morbid, but we really should just do the best we can to treat other people with kindness and just enjoy our time with our families and, our friends. So again, I just wanted to send my condolences to her family and just give a reminder to everyone to be very mindful of the importance and the wonderful thing that is called life. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Merwin?
Yes. I'm not sure, did you get my email today about Brewster Circle or Port Farm Road?
You send it to Chief and myself.
Right.
And I'll follow up with the chief on the issue.
I mean, it was multiple houses, and the complaint is that we put the signs up and now we're not enforcing
Yes.
it, so.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else on my left? On my right? Mrs. Walker?
Yeah, since this is our last meeting in May, I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Memorial Day.
Okay, I'll just close the comments by saying that it really was, again, a busy week last week. There was a lot going on. I went to the spring fling, and it was really nice. They had a petting zoo for the children and all kinds of the bouncy houses and so on. And I really think that this was a very nice thing. We had the flea market. It was at the high school. It was at the Historical Society. Very well attended. And then we went to a program. It was at the Silver Linings. It was for anyone who was the age of 90 and over in Middlesex County. And it was such a fun time. Can't believe how many people attended, and it was so nice. The Divas and Dudes, the dancing group, performed, and it was just really a wonderful thing. A lot of really nice things going on. Report of the Township Clerk.
Okay. Just a reminder, June 4th, Tuesday, June 4th, polls open at 6 a.m. They close at 8 p.m., so get out and vote for the primary election. And if you have any questions on anything, give the Township Clerk's office a call or come in and see us, and we'll gladly assist you in any way we can. And that's about it. Okay? So get out there and vote. It's important. Okay?
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you, Stella. A report of the Township Attorney.
No report right now.
Okay, administrative report. Oh, I'm sorry. Was
That's
it a
okay.
report?
That's all right. You
Okay.
can accept it.
Okay, let's take a motion to accept
Move it.
Stella's report.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin? Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Stella. And now administrative report, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you, Council President. Administrative report for May 13, 2019. Item number 1, Mayor Henry's Clean Team. On Saturday, May 18, 2018, Mayor Henry and volunteers from Calvary Church, Elbridge Soccer League Bulldogs, the Elbridge High School French Club, and Miller School will clean up various roadways throughout the town. The location of the cleanups will be determined closer to the date based on the road condition. Local organization can contact the Clean Community Coordinator by emailing recycling@oldbridge.com for further information. Item number 2, intergenerational program. On Tuesday, May 21st, 2019, at 10 a.m., the Elbridge Silver Lining Senior Center, in conjunction with the Municipal Alliance and Elbridge High School, will be hosting the closing ceremony of intergenerational program. This annual program pairs up senior citizen and high school students from 2 distinct generations and provide opportunity for socialization, physical activities, and the exchange of ideas and traditions. For additional information, residents should contact Municipal Alliance Office at 732-721-5600, extension 4022. Item number 3, 2019 Memorial Day Ceremony. On Friday, May 24, 2019, Mayor Henry will be holding a Memorial Day wreath-laying ceremony at the Senior Center. Ceremony is scheduled to begin at 10:30 a.m. For additional information, residents should contact Mayor's Office at extension 2040. Item number 4, 2019 Memorial Day Parade. On Monday, May 27, 2019, the Township will be holding its annual Memorial Day Parade. The event will begin at 9 a.m. For additional information about this event, residents should contact the Department of Parks and Recreation at extension 4999 or visit the Township website at oldbridge.com. Item number 5, Memorial Day Holiday. On Monday, May 27, 2019, all municipal offices will be closed for businesses and observance of Memorial Day. Item number 6, Elbridge Business Alliance is a dynamic business networking group which has received statewide recognitions and is free for any business to join. The next Business Alliance meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 30, 2019, at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and will be held at Sweet Charlie's located at 2633 Route 516. For additional information on local businesses and related opportunities, residents should contact Economic Development Office at extension 7920 or email obedo@oldbridge.com. Item number 7, Arts for the Ages. On Friday, May 31st, 2019, at 6 p.m., the Elbridge Parks and Recreation Department, in conjunction with the Silver Lining Center, will be hosting Intergeneration Art Show. This will showcase all of the artworks that we work on throughout the year. It will be hosted in the Silver Lining Center. For additional information, residents should contact the Parks and Recreation Office at extension 4999. Item number 8, demolition of Lawrence Harbor Senior Center. As a part of our affordable housing development efforts, the Lawrence Harbor Senior Center, located at 200 Lawrence Parkway, has been completely demolished and the site is being cleared. All material for the buildings are required to be recycled. Item number 9, spring leaf collection. Spring leaf collection concluded in all wards on May 10, 2019. Residents who still have leaf bags should email publicworks@oldbridge.com to get on list for pickup. Item number 10, recycling coach. As a reminder, residents can download the new recycling coach app and get reminders about curbside recycling, important schedule changes, and more. For more detail, go to oldbridge.com/recycling. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw. Does any of the council people have comments or questions?
I'll move it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Merwin, second, to Greenberg.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Next will be our consent agenda. I'd like to get a motion and a second, and then I'll bring it out to the public and back to the council for separations.
Move it.
Moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Mr. Rizzoli. Is there anyone out in the audience that has any questions for the consent agenda? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion and now start with council separations. On my left, anyone?
Good. E3?
C3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Madam Chairperson,
Yes.
C13.
See what?
13?
13.
Okay. Anyone on my right? Separations? Okay, seeing no more hands for separations, I will ask for a... Okay, thank you, Mr. Cahill. And Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes on the balance.
C3, Mrs. Brown?
Yeah, I actually was going to give you a call earlier, Himanshu, because I looked at the attached letter. Is there any designation for what this amount is going to go to? Am I at the right one? Yeah.
The amount under the contract is paid to the county for the county to provide us the health services. They operate the health department at the township, which provide inspections, vaccinations, and many other services that is required for us to provide. So the contract amount is paid to the county for those services.
It's like, sorry, the same amount every year or something similar?
Beg your pardon?
Is it just an annual, it's
Yeah.
the basic, yeah?
It's an annual event.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second by Mrs. Walker.
Mrs. Walker?
Yeah.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
C13, Mr. Merwin?
Yes. The governor, in his infinite wisdom, a couple of weeks ago, decided that he was going to try and raid the Fireman's Relief Fund in the amount of $33 million. This fund was created for career and volunteer firefighters to provide relief during the financial hardships for medical bills, job loss, and funeral expenses. Now, I know the governor's short-sightedness in this was glaringly brought to his attention, and he claims that he's changed his mind. But I lived through this with the EMT Training Fund Act under different governors, and they said it would never be touched, and the next thing you know, they took millions of dollars out of the training fund, which cut the EMT training, really severely hampered it. So I would like to continue with this resolution and oppose anybody taking from the Fireman Relief Fund.
Okay, you through, Mr. Merwin? Okay, anyone else? Mr. Pescetti?
Go ahead, Debbie, if you want to go. I read that was rescinded, Mr. Merwin. Is that correct?
That's exactly
Not
what
going to
I
have,
just said.
all right, but no cross conversation. So you heard it was rescinded. Oh. And then Mrs. Walker, I believe you had your hand up as well?
Yes, my husband is a member of the Fireman Relief Association. As soon as he heard about this, he immediately got on the phone. He had met with people, he'd written letters, and we found out from the attorney that there was a revised statute in New Jersey of 2010, Title 43, Chapter 17, 43:17-45, that prevents the governor from taking this money. That is the reason the governor backed off, not because of letters or any pressure. He can't take the money. So that's why, he stopped, and I knew that he couldn't take it. But I just said, what this governor has been doing all around, there's never enough money for him. He's taking money from our school district, trying to take money from our firemen. There's never enough money.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Walker. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no hands. Anyone else have a comment before we go to a roll call?
I move it.
I'll second.
Okay. Yep. Yes, Mr. Cahill.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
We're voting yes, but he can't touch the money anyway, so he has my yes. I don't want him touching the money.
Right.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Fischetti?
Yes.
What did he say?
Yes, he said yes, right, Mr. Piscitty, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes, but the statute supersedes anything we could do.
President Sawa?
Yes, our sentiments are, against it, but as Mrs. Walker said, there is really that he can't do anything. And thank you, Mrs. Walker, and your husband for all that you did for this.
Okay. 9 yes.
We have no ordinances for first reading. Next will be public comments on any subject matter. Anyone in the public wish to be heard? No one wishes to be heard? Okay, then I'll close the public, and we will go on to discussion. Next is D1, discussion, 2015-2025 Affordable Housing Trust Fund Spending Plan. Good evening, Mrs. Shapiro. Good evening.
Good evening.
Council President, we're here before you tonight to discuss the 2015-2025 Affordable Housing Trust Fund Spending Plan.
And
Yep, and for those that don't know me at home, my name is Nicole Shapiro, Elbridge Township Engineer, Director of Community Development, and I'm joined with to my right, Vina Sawant, our Township Planner, and also Megan York. She's our Affordable Housing Agent from CGP&H and our consultant. Vina's going to talk a little bit about why we're revising our spending plan, and then Megan is going to go into the details of what specifically we are revising.
good evening, ladies.
Good evening, everybody. So before we get into the amended spending plan, I know everybody has this question, why are we revising or why are we even amending the spending plan? So I thought I'll just walk you through what's happening. So in May of 2015, Elbridge Township filed their declaratory judgment with the housing plan, housing element and fair share plan. Subsequently, the following year, that was around June of 2016, the court approved our housing element and fair share plan. But as a condition, as one of the conditions of the court approval of the plan was to amend and adopt a spending plan. So the township went ahead and amended their spending plan. The spending plan was court approved at that point. So that was in May of 2017. But at that time, it was the beginning of the 10-year housing plan period. So there were certain projections, assumptions made when writing the spending plan. At that time, the Elbridge Redevelopment Authority had designated 2 developers for 2 100% affordable, municipally sponsored affordable projects. One was at the Marlborough Road site, and the other one was at Lawrence Parkway. What happened is now we are in the middle of the 10-year period. So we started in 2015. This is the 5th year. We have the advantage of looking at factual data as to what has happened in the last 5 years. Now, first talking about the municipally sponsored projects. Typically, when your housing plan includes 100% affordable projects, the assumption is that at least there will be some groundbreaking within 2 years of the court approval of the housing plan. We are in the 5th year. Nothing has happened, and we all know that those 2 developers that were designated have backed out of the projects. But since we are in the middle of the 10-year period, it's time for us to reevaluate and look at what has happened. The one thing I noticed is when we did our original spending plan, we had allotted, there was an assumption that we would rehabilitate 103 units per year. Now, when we look back at the last 5 years, we barely get 25 applications, and out of which probably only 10 qualify for the rehabilitation program. So our projection of 103 units per year is completely off, so we need to adjust that. Also, the Marlborough site was always in the spending plan, but there was a different developer associated. We had the Lawrence Parkway 12 affordable units, had a different developer involved. Now, the Elbridge Redevelopment Authority has designated 2 new developers for these 2 sites. What happened is when we were doing the housing element and fair share plan, the township designated the Lawrence Parkway site as an area in need of redevelopment, and we created a redevelopment plan. But at that time, we did not amend the Crossroad redevelopment plan. So the court-approved housing element and fair share plan had a certain numbers assigned for the site at Lawrence Parkway and the site at Marlborough, too. The Marlborough site was affordable family or veteran units, and the Lawrence Parkway site was age-restricted senior units. But we never went and amended the Crossroad plan. So once we present this amended spending plan, the next meeting I'll be here with an amendment to the Crossroad redevelopment plan because that needs to be tweaked too. So by saying that, I'll hand over to Megan so that she can walk through the spending plan.
Thank you for the introduction, Vina. That really laid out what we're doing here today. And just to reiterate, this is the Affordable Housing Trust Fund money. This is money that's collected through development fees, and all the money in the trust fund must be used for affordable housing purposes. Building upon what she said, any changes that we come up with does need to be approved with the court, because we are going to make some changes to how the funds were originally going to be used for. What the spending plan takes into account the money that's in the account now, and then also projections through 2025. We are looking on allocating money for the rehab program, as Vina said, money to build the Marlborough Road site, the 72-unit project, and also allocate money for other municipally sponsored projects like the Lawrence Parkway site. One of the required elements of the spending plan is that 30% of all the funds in the plan must be used to make deed-restricted affordable housing more affordable to the residents. We're looking at setting up, these are called affordability assistance. One of the programs will be a down payment assistance program to help people moving into ownership, affordable deed-restricted housing, to provide down payment assistance with closing costs. Another program is a first month's rent program that will be used when some of the inclusionary rental projects become built in the township in the next few years. This will help affordable renters who are having trouble coming up with rent and security deposit move into their affordable rental units. Another program is in the development of the Lawrence Harbor site to provide additional funds to the developer to make energy improvements to the units, to more efficient HVAC systems, roofing, windows, so the energy costs of the homeowners will be reduced over the lifetime, thereby making their costs more affordable. We're also looking at providing affordability assistance to the developer of the Marlborough Road site so he can make the rents slightly lower than would be required by state statute, which will help the renters of those affordable units, and also setting aside affordability assistance funds in the spending plan for group homes. And the final category of the spending plan is housing administration, and we're looking at allocating money for the administration of the affordable housing units also. Any questions about the spending plan and the allocation of funds?
Anyone on my left have a question? Mr. Merwin?
Yes. You're telling me that over 5 years, we did how many houses in the rehabilitative section?
10 per year, so 50 in 5 years, roughly.
And how many would apply each year?
So 25, typically we get around 25 applications, but out of them, only maximum like 10 of them really qualify for the program.
They have, Councilman Moore, when they have to be income eligible, and what, they go through a screening process initially, and sometimes they don't even make it past the screening process. So they're hopeful at first, but then they don't meet the income qualifications.
I'm just wondering how much we did on our part to let the public know that those programs were available, because I'm sure that we have more than 25 people or 10 people in town that are income eligible for the program.
That's true. I mean, we actually
And
see.
it shocks me that, because I've seen the CDBG program work in the past, and I just find it hard to believe that, that our people are not taking advantage of this.
Well, hopefully those watching tonight, in the past, we've had it in our administrative report. Several times, actually, this year, we've had it in our administrative report. I do have it on our website as well, with a direct link to CGP&H's website, because they're our administrative agent, and they actually, they administer the rehab program for us, where before we had done it in-house when we had a larger staff. It's unfortunate. I mean, in the past, I've also put it on Facebook and tweeted about it and put it on our website. And then we also have sort of a flyer that we've, shot on our TV, that our TV studio had helped us with as well. In our building department, you could actually pick up a flyer on the rehab program as well. And as well, there's a poster for contractors who want to be included in the bidding process for those affordable homes. Same in the engineering and planning department. If you were a homeowner and you wanted to see if you qualified for the rehab program, you could also pick up that same flyer.
This new spending plan is going to take money away from the rehabilitation program and put it somewhere else, or?
Well, yes and no. I think, Megan, I feel like, what was the projections per year?
There is more money has come in between 2015 and 2019 than was projected. So that's where most of the money is coming from with the change. And we were not on track to spend all the money that had been allocated for the rehab program. I'm looking to tell you exactly what the change in number is.
I'm just wondering if 100 people are watching tonight and they came in and make application and they all applied, would the money be there?
I think there is one thing to caution. Several years back, there was an attempt to take the money from, because it wasn't spent, the state was going to take the money, and we had to take action to put in, to prevent that. So I think it's important that we have the spending done. We have a 2-sponsored project that is approved under the court that needs funding. If the funding is not done through affordable housing funds, which is available, then we'll have to come up with the money through the budgetary process, which I recommend that we go to Affordable Housing Trust Fund and use that money to, help this project.
Okay, I just had a quick question, and this is actually probably to Councilman Merwin's point. I think sometimes the applications for things like this are a bit labor intensive. I don't know if that's changed any, but that could also be a deterrent. So it's not that maybe people don't want to be a part of these types of programs, but sometimes there's a little bit of apprehension because of filling out paperwork, and a lot of times we don't realize it because maybe some of us here haven't had to qualify for that, but sometimes the income levels are lower than people expect, things like that. So, but that being said, are there any provisions in place for assisting people with the paperwork, that process at all? Can they call you? Okay.
Definitely, yeah. My office definitely assists
Okay.
people, and, I mean, honestly, it's in our interest to get people through the program. So every application that comes through, we want them to work
to
with
get
them.
through,
We're
yeah.
not turning them away. We're really working with them to try to
Okay.
get the paperwork. But I think you did actually hit a very important point. Is the income limits are people are in need, but they're not quite under the income limits. So that is, a lot of times seniors are one of the most, their income limits are low, but their need is high. So that's one population that we are able to serve.
What are the income levels? Maybe we can
Yeah.
educate the public tonight.
Councilwoman Brown, I'm glad you brought up the income limits because Megan is actually working on coming back and revising them because now they're slightly higher. So that might make, some people qualify more. Now, I wish 100 people were qualified tomorrow because, but, the realistic, view is, like the medium income in Elbridge is pretty high. So even with new income limits, we think that our guesstimate on the spending plan is the appropriate way to go.
So the income limits right now for a two-person household size of 2 is $59,000.
Is how much?
59.
5.9? For 2 people?
Yes.
And what is 3?
3 is 66.
Now, that's for rehabilitative, or is that the whole program, whether it,
That's the same for whether you're
Whether you're
applying to buy
buying
a
a house
house,
or
rent, or the housing rehabilitation program.
And for the housing rehabilitation program, I think the limit is $20,000 for the home improvement program that they would do. Now, let's say they get through the income level portion, our administrative agents would go and actually visit the home, and should they see something that's not code compliant, for example, they put in a second bathroom without permits in their basement, they would have to correct that before we would be able to assist them in the home improvements. So there's things that by law that we have to take a look at and can't walk away from.
yeah, but we had, I mean, the CDBG grants, the windows and the roofs and
Well, remember, this is out of the COA trust fund, not the CDB.
I understand, but I mean, it's the same type of thing,
yep,
right?
it is,
You know,
yes.
whether it's CDBG or whether it's COA.
We do have 7 applications in the pipeline for this year, so that's we're getting some interest, so that's good for its being made.
I just want to make sure everybody understand that the Lawrence Harbor site is slated for the 12 duplex. There are 6 duplex with 12 family homes for sale. It's not a rental process. It will be sold to the owners.
Anybody on my left? No? Anyone on my right?
So,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that was me. Council President, I just wanted to make clear our intention for tonight. Usually I would say, oh, let's move it up to first reading, but that's not our intent tonight. We have to go back to the courts and have them approve our spending plan before we come back. But seeing as we only have one meeting in the month of May, we're going to use the next month to go back to the courts and present to them the amended spending plan with your consent, and then come back to you for a resolution of approval on the revised spending plan at the June 10th meeting, where Vina then would present to you the revisions in the Crossroads Development Plan that only pertain to the 72 units that were included in our housing element. So,
It is at the intersection of East Greystone Road and Marlborough Road.
It's the intersection of basically the Paper Street portion of East Greystone Road. So it would front basically the water tower for OBMU Way, and it would be along Marlborough Road.
Same side as Roosevelt.
Yes.
So one last thing, this is steered by the state, right?
Everything is in our court approval. these are the two sites that were in our court approval. Unfortunately, the two developers that we had early on, for whatever reason, aren't with us anymore. So for the and I think, on 200 Lawrence Parkway, you may have noticed that the senior center has been demolished within the last week. And that was going to be, 2 buildings, 6 units, 3 units on top of each other. Now, and they were rentals. They were for sale? I'm sorry.
It was still for sale, but they were supposed to have it was like a condominium, so they would have a board, common ground, and these developers has changed that to a duplex format, but there will be ownership, so we won't need any of these associations and related common area activities to deal with
The new
it.
developer has duplexes, which would give everybody, their own driveway entrance and their own backyard and, a fenced-in area for people to play in. And it actually fits better with the surrounding neighborhoods, because if you look at the lot sizes in the area, it's almost conducive to the same lot size as each of the duplexes. So it's actually a better model for the area. So in hindsight, it probably works out a little bit better for us. With the 72 affordable units on Marlborough site, we have to amend our plan because originally.
Can I
sorry.
chip in? So with the Marlborough site, basically when the court approved the housing plan, that site had 72 affordable family or veteran units. But if we look at the Crossroad redevelopment plan, the entire plan area is designated as age restricted. Now, when the court approved the housing plan, we should have amended the Crossroad redevelopment plan just for this Marlborough site, because this was slated for affordable family or rentals. So, and just talking about the age-restricted component, so when we did our prior round housing plan, we had excess credits for age-restricted housing. So we had almost 218 age-restricted credits, which were carried over to the third round plan. Now, in third round, we had Brunetti development, which again created age-restricted housing, and we got credits for 118 units. But now the third round regulations has a cap on how many age-restricted credits you can use to address your affordable housing obligation. We have already reached a max with that, and that is the reason why when we went to the court with the housing element and fair share plan, for this site we had affordable family or veterans, and we had 72 units there. The Marlborough site was, the Lawrence Parkway site was assigned for age restricted.
There's many reasons why senior housing, senior restricted, is favorable. And one of the reasons why, if you can imagine, if you're a senior in town, now you retire, you're on restricted income, you can't afford your house. So you sell your house, young people move in, you move into one of the senior homes. It's favorable because you're not bringing more students into the area. So, that's, why it's so positive to have them. And they need some place. Retiring in New Jersey is not I could tell you daily, my clients, there is a mass exodus when you retire from the state of New Jersey. So restricting affordable senior housing is a little peculiar to me when I feel that we do need it. And so, that is upsetting when you see, seniors flocking out of the states because you can't afford to live here once you do retire. And so I don't know why, they're restricting that.
See, I understand your point, but the state, they're trying to have a balance of affordable housings. They do not want like one type of category just growing in one municipality. So they have capped it at 25%. Now, suppose even if we restrict the Marlborough site for age restricted, whatever 72 units we create, we will not get credits for it. So we would not be able to address it for our third round plan because we are capped at that. So, I mean, creating a 100% municipally affordable project, we want to be able to get credits towards the obligation. So it's a state mandated rule. It was written in 2005, I guess, when the third round rules were written, and it's still the same.
I just want to add,
You're amending this, you're removing the component for the veterans and the age-restricted. Am I correct?
Yes, so when I come back with the Crossroad redevelopment plan amendment, only for that particular site, we'll remove the age restricted. But everywhere else in the Crossroad redevelopment plan, it is planned for planned retirement community. So the age restrictions still will be retained on the remaining portion of the redevelopment plan area.
but Councilman Rizzoli, just so you are aware, the only reason we're amending it is so it matches our court approval, because whatever's in our court approval is what we have to go by.
Typically, any redevelopment plan has to be consistent with the master plan. And since our housing element is one of the elements of the master plan, the redevelopment plan has to be consistent with this housing element plan, which was court approved. So we're just trying to match it and make it consistent, only for this particular site.
Madam Chairperson.
Yes.
Now, the Lawrence Harbor site has always been touted as being a veteran housing. Now you're telling us it's not going to be veteran housing.
No, it will be.
It's strictly veteran
I think
preference.
the exact wording, and I don't want to steal Venus' thunder, but I think it's like veterans preferred, Sandy victims, and
Yeah,
is
there
it
was a,
Yes,
something else, I think. The exact wording in the court documents is, I know the first is veterans preferred, I know Sandy victims comes second, and then the third one is something else.
Why is it not veteran housing? That's what it is touted as, and that's what it should be.
Even if it is veterans housing, I mean, I know veterans who are my age or, younger, so we could still have the veteran housing. It could be family and/or veterans, but it doesn't mean that it will be age restricted.
I'm just saying veteran housing.
I think that's
I mean, they could be 22 years old now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at war.
Yeah, I mean,
There was amendments to the Fair Housing Act that allows for veterans preference, and it basically gives preference to veterans for, I think it's 120 days or some period of time where you advertise, you go to veterans groups, you try to get veterans to apply, and then after a certain point, the developer does have the opportunity to sell to a non-veteran if no household is available.
It would have, veterans have a priority.
Yeah.
They have a timeline. If the timeline's not met, then it's open.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
anyone else have any questions?
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Comments, is there anyone on my left that would like to make a comment? Anyone on my right? Mrs. Walker?
Yes, sometimes when I'm on Facebook, I'll see that people are complaining about different things such as potholes. And I just want them to know that there's the Reported app that they can put on their phone, and they can go in and they could report the pothole, and it'll be taken care of right away. Or they could call their council person or email their council person, it'll get taken care of right away. All of us usually have like our first thing, so I'm dwalker@elbridge.com, so you could email me or download the Reported app.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Anyone else on my right? Dr. Greenberg?
Yes, tonight we heard about Governor Murphy, who wanted to raid the Firemen's Trust Fund. And we also know what happened in our town with the Board of Education. And I think it's very unfortunate I mean, this man, when he ran, he said he was going to raise taxes, and he said what he was going to do, and still unanimously, the majority of the people voted for him. And in fact, the people that he's hurting are a lot of people that supported him. Then JEA supported him, the unions, the teachers' unions, they supported him. And now, taking this money. And the thing that disturbs me the most is our budget in town was already done and voted on. So I understand if you have to make these adjustments, but I think it's very disingenuous that you waited till the budget was done. He could have sent out an advisory saying this was going to happen, adjust your budget, be aware this is coming down the line. And then I think it's disturbing because all over town, somehow this board here is getting blamed for it. They don't ask us any questions to participate in their budget. They don't present the budget to us. They don't want our input for it, and we don't vote for it. So I want to make that very clear. The budget we vote for is the township budget. And this year, we had a 0% increase. Services have increased. Improvements that you could see throughout all over town have been done. So really, we did not do the Board of Education, and I think people have to understand that. Yes, the township collects that money when you send in your taxes, and we have to give that money to the Board of Ed, but we have had no input. We weren't asked to review it. And everyone on this board knows how many meetings we had with our budget meetings, and they know how we went over it line by line. And I don't think that happened at the Board of Education. So it's very, very, very unfortunate that we found this township in this situation at this time. And then the things that I'm hearing are the only remedy is to go out and get raise taxes or more ratables. That's not the answer for everything. You have to look within and figure out what needs to be done to streamline things but still have efficiencies, and it can be done. This township has a lot of shared services with the schools. I know our mayor has gone down to Trenton multiple times, and this was a unanimous Democratic legislation passed where the three representatives that represent this district, Assemblyman Clifton and Dancer and Senator Thompson, voted against it, and Governor Murphy signed it, and that's why this money was taken from this town. And it's not only just from this town. There's other towns that money has been taken and in different proportions, and it's very frustrating that we're faced with this. So there's a lot of things that are saying that aren't true, and I just wanted to put it out there. We feel for the situation. We try to work, and anything that we could do to help them, we would do. But that budget is not our budget, so please understand that, and we are trying our best to really just have some positive input and stay calm and be rational and reasonable how this is going to affect us and how we're going to come out of this. But I think the first thing that we do need is really to evaluate why it happened and why, if you knew this was going to happen down the line where things changed within the system and it wasn't addressed. I think those things have to be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you.
One other thing I did want to say, that for the spring fling that they did have on the 4th, I knew some families that went there. They said it was wonderful. And I just think, unfortunately, that with advertisements, I know we want to get more people to enjoy all the programs that you put forward. So maybe that's one way the school could help us out, by advertising the good things that happen throughout the town. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so seeing no hands, I will call for a motion for adjournment.
I move it.
Second.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill? Yes. Dr. Greenberg? Yes. Mr. Merwin? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes. Thank you.